Hello, everyone. We got an awesome show today. Got some fun stuff to chat through. Got some fun industry news to share. Got some cool stuff. Also in front of a massive snowstorm here about to happen. And
Yeah. So if we're talking fast, that's the reason. Yeah, today, our main topic is going to be gamification. That
Yep.
sounds fun. The benefits of gamification in software products and its effect on the whole user experience and all of that good stuff. But kind of before we get into all of that, there's some cool stuff going on in the world right now. So there's this humanoid robot, right? There's this company called Stealth that released photos of a humanoid robot that looks to be pretty cool and weird and terrifying. You ever see the movie iRobot? Like them, like Alan Tudyk robot type thing. Alan Tudyk is great.
Although the photos didn't show a face.
So maybe that's the point.
Yeah.
Although, who knows? They're probably just trying to hide that for what they actually intend to do.
Maybe.
Like maybe that's a screen that you put like a person's face on, right? Maybe that's something they're developing on, or maybe it is just a blank thing, or it's an informational display, right? Hey, Robo friend, can you tell me how to cook this meal? And then the screen
turns into Martha
Stewart, or just text instructions, but also Martha Stewart.
Oh,
that's a better idea, I think.
And then she mouths out the recipe in her voice.
Yeah, because there's also AI that can mimic celebrity voices out there. Side tangent here, but there's a really popular trend in short form video content where there will be a gameplay from a video game, and then it's Trump, Obama, and Joe Biden voicing the people who are actually playing it. And it sounds so good. Like you can tell it's a robot, and obviously they can't do this stuff, but it's just like them riffing on each other and being graphic and acting like they're playing the game, and they're all dishing on Joe for age and Obama for drone strikes and Trump for Trumpisms, and it's just hilarious. Go watch it.
Can the Biden bot even talk that fast?
Gameplay? It can. And actually, they it's not all like one-sided. Like they make political jokes, obviously, but it's not like a right versus left thing. And sometimes Biden gets he's like
his little
I can't repeat it because it's graphic stuff, but it's
right.
He drops some bombs.
Nice.
But anyway, that's a side tangent to what this thing actually is.
Yep.
What did they say that like the practical uses of this would be? This stealth thing?
Warehouse related tasks. I'm just trying to think. I think I just saw the warehouse one.
Retail, I think.
Retail related stuff.
That's already kind of a thing. I think McDonald's said that they wanted to make
McDonald's their drive-through operator. Yeah.
But like, can you imagine a humanoid robot selling you a cell phone or giving you your burger? That'd be pretty crazy.
Or what do you think is going to come first? The Amazon truck showing up in front of your house and a humanoid getting out and walking it to your porch, or the drones?
I think the drones, because they're already there. But also, like, is the humanoid form the most optimal way to deliver a package? I mean, obviously it's optimal for us because that's all we have to work on. But like, is there some other? Is it more optimal to have, I don't know, like a rolling vehicle of some sort that has trays and drawers that pop open and set down with an appendage that picks up the package and sets it down on the porch instead of like a humanoid who is physically driving a truck or something like that.
Right.
I don't know.
Or they're just sitting there and the truck's driving itself.
Yeah.
And then they get out and like walk the package to the front door.
That's kind of the thing, right? Like the whole point of having a humanoid robot is so that it looks more like us. So like the practical application of it should be, and you would hope, to be an interactive human on robot type of thing. So, and that makes sense with the whole face thing that you had brought up and thought about. because then you have a human with a humanoid robot with a human-esque face.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's already like the AI person generator stuff that we had talked about previously.
Mm-hmm.
Just slap that
Right.
into the processing power of the robot, and you can have all sorts
Cra-
of different human looking expressions and stuff. That's crazy.
Crazy. Yep. Crazy stuff we're getting into in this world. And then, there's news out there that, Mark Zuckerberg has kind of sort of put the metaverse to rest, but who knows? Maybe they're just quietly cranking on something amazing in the background. We just don't know it yet,
Or questionable.
or questionable.
It's like, oh man, Elon Musk has really like one upped me in the questionable business decisions realm. I need to. How
I need
can
one.
I do
I need one.
better?
What's my next one?
What's my next one?
Yeah. And then the cool stuff in technology, right? NBA released maybe a couple AR apps recently. NBA All World, I believe, is the name of one. I forget the name of the other one.
I think it. So the All World is the Niantic backed or developed
Yeah.
one, right? So that's
Yeah.
like Pokemon Go, but playing with players.
Right, that's hot, moving around.
I think the other one's the actual NBA app.
Oh, the actual NBA
Yeah,
AR app.
I
Okay.
think. I mean, don't hold me
Maybe.
to it, but I mean, yeah. So anyway, like the first one, like I said, Niantic worked with NBA or whoever, and it's like they want to make it the next Pokemon Go, and that's what Niantic is famous for. So you would like, from what I gather or think, you would like go into the park and play against, like, find LeBron James or Kyrie Irving or who knows, maybe in like older stars like Michael Jordan or something like that,
Right, right,
and face them in hoops. I mean, you might be just switching a screen to shoot your ball, but
right, right.
if you have all those faces, and I mean, they own all of the rights to those people's faces. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
but the other one, and probably to me the more interesting one, is they the commissioner, whatever his name is,
Adam
Adam
Silver.
Silver,
Yeah.
got on stage and took out a phone and did like a 360 image capture of a person that was on the stage with them. Took that 3D image capture live on the stage and threw that person into an actual recording of a game as one of the NBA players. So you
Mm-hmm.
see him run from court to court and dunk on a guy or lay up against a guy or
Yep.
something like that. And that's kind of
Yeah, to
crazy.
put yourself in game, like that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you had brought up earlier, imagine you're sitting with like five of your buddies and you all put yourself in
As
as the
one of the
Pistons
play.
going up against the Lakers or something
Yeah,
like that, right?
yeah,
How I don't
right.
know, for basketball fans, I think that would be pretty cool. Then you
We're
can record it, post it to YouTube,
you and your
share
buddies
it.
are the bad boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my friends were the going to work Pistons, and
Yep.
we got
Yep.
you back to back.
So cool. Let's get into today's episode. Again, we mentioned it's about gamification. We probably see gamification on 50 to 75% of the apps that are on our phones today. We don't even realize it.
Yep, that's how good they are.
Some we realize, some we don't even realize. Let's just talk about a little bit about gamification. So how would you kind of define gamification?
So gamification, think video games, and think of like what the core concept of it is. You play a game to rack up points or to earn titles or badges, to check your points against a leaderboard of other people. Like, think the old arcade games where you're playing in the arcade, earning points, and you see your 3-digit name, number 2 on the scoreboard against other people.
Mm-hmm.
You're incentivized to keep putting those quarters in the machine to get that higher score so you can beat the random people whose name you can't recognize because it's just 3 letters. So take that, put it into a software or into some platform that you've got, and doing activity in the software you have could earn you points. Could then you can spend those points maybe, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
those points get put onto a leaderboard where you compare against your friends or everybody in the world or something like that, and it creates a motivation to do it, a motivation to stay in the app, and also a feel good that you are progressing towards something. So the whole point of gamification is to make your app, which might not be a game, have gamey elephants, gamey elements to convince you to keep doing that activity in your app.
Yep. Game like elements. Yeah. And it's, it's certainly leads to enhanced user engagement, motivation, like you brought up,
Yeah.
also retention, right? So the time of which someone is spending in your
Yep.
app, right? You might need 5 more points to get there. It might need one more star, or maybe it's, one more badge, and
Yeah.
they got to get it. They got to get it, right? But yet they're still in your app. They're still in your software. They're
If I earn
still,
3 more coins, I unlock the
yep,
next level, and
yep,
I can keep playing that game.
right? I mean, s- anyone else got the 7-Eleven app on their phone?
I don't.
Six Slurpees and your seventh is free. I mean,
I mean, yeah,
you're on your fourth Slurpee, and you
that's
go
an
there, and
ancient business concept of the
yeah,
whole punch card thing,
right. The
just
whole punch card,
digitized. Yeah.
digital punch card
Yeah.
works perfectly.
Even better is things like the McDonald's app, where purchasing things as gets you points, which actually gets you real food
Right.
that you can, which is kind of the same concept,
Is
just
McDonald's
presented
real
in a
food?
different way.
I
I think
guess it
most
is.
of it is.
Okay.
Yeah. My body can process it, and I continue to live because, I'm bad, and 25% of my
Yeah.
diet is McDonald's food.
Yeah.
It's not the truth.
So
It's
it's real
less.
good food.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm alive and it tastes good.
Yeah. You are alive. You are here.
Unless I'm AI. I don't
Squid
know.
socks and all. You are
Squid
here.
socks and all, just like last week, right?
Yeah. So gamification can also help users learn new skills. You can encourage through gamification for people to progress through a course.
Oh, absolutely. I learned a lot on Have you heard of Khan Academy?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so it's a learning platform.
KHAN
Yeah,
Academy. Yeah.
yeah. Guy named last name Khan. I think
Hmm.
he made it. But on Khan Academy, you progress through your lessons, and you do your challenges and that sort of thing. You earn points,
Hmm.
and you earn badges for completing those challenges. So it's learning, but with gamification added onto
Yep.
it. Um, Definitely helped me stay there because it was cool to like see my points rack up, and
Yep.
you gain levels. I think you gain levels with that. It's been a while, but
Hmm.
at least you gain like badges or titles or something like that. So
Yep.
I mean, all sorts of different learning. I don't know, what's the term? Learning softwares
Learning
probably do
platform.
something
Yeah.
like that.
LMS. Yeah.
Yeah.
LMS platforms. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and it can be, a good thing about it is it can be customized to kind of match any type of like unique business model that you have, right? It's all about how can you reward someone, some person, some user of your software, whether they be, it's an internal or an enterprise app that's being used by internal teams, or if it's an external app that's being used by, end users, the public.
Yeah.
Really can be used in any way, shape, or form. I mean, Starbucks uses gamification within their app for coffee and loading points and loading money up into the app, right? Like it's almost as if they're a bank that happens to serve coffee,
Yeah.
right?
But it's not always just like points and rewards and that sort of thing. Think of like the most obvious right now would be social media. Every piece of social media has some sort of a like or a love or a heart
Hmm.
or something like that. And there's whenever you click it, there's always some little animation that happens that gives you warm, fuzzy feelings on
Yep.
the inside. But less like publicly aware is Asana. When you complete a task in Asana, a big unicorn with fantastical colors shows up, and it's like
Yep.
you have completed a task.
Yeah, and it like
You earned a unicorn running
right,
across your screen,
right.
which
It
is really
floats
cool.
across the screen. Yeah,
I remember we were the first time we noticed it on a meeting together, us and other people on the team. We were all like, "Did you guys just see that unicorn?
yeah,
We need to complete another task so
yeah.
we can see that unicorn
Right.
again."
Quick, quick, quick.
Yeah, what can we do real quick?
Right, right. Gamification is also known to, or it drives, like we mentioned earlier, user retention, which allows gamification to be cost effective in a way, right? Because you don't have to run like marketing campaigns, you don't have to run paid ad campaigns to get people to come back to the app or to
Yeah,
use the app for like a longer period of time, right? You can simply bake in some gamification into your software to keep people there longer, and it's just part of the software. It's not in
yeah,
a
and it's an excuse to notify them
right.
with your app, right? So like normally when you're with apps, like those notifications that you get are sometimes kind of cumbersome. Well, not cumbersome, but like annoying.
Hmm.
But if you've got a game app that's reminding you, hey, you're only 5 points away from achieving the next level, like that's a notification you probably would want if you like
Right.
it to remind you, oh, I'm almost there. I should
Right.
go back to the app and continue to play.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, and gamification can be sprinkled into existing applications too. Like it doesn't, the app or the software doesn't have to be rewritten to now include gamification. It can just be placed right into an existing application that's already running, one that's already half built,
Already
75%
gathering
built.
stats and understanding of
All
the things that
right.
you'd probably want to put the gamification related to like key metrics that you
Hmm.
want to keep track of anyway. So clicks or
Right.
completions, whatever action you want to incentivize, you want to put points towards that action, and you're probably already tracking that action
Right. Right.
if you're doing tracking with your app. So it just makes sense to just add a little piece of gamification to that,
Hmm.
start counting that and displaying it to the user somehow.
Right. Yeah, and in regards to displaying to the user, I mean, the big key elements or the design elements are really badges, points. Points are kind of like the low level. You get badges, leaderboards. Um,
Points could be like coins or gems or
sure,
fishes in your bucket or something like that.
stars.
Yeah.
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 Yep. Yep. Exactly. It can almost pretty much be anything, and the badges are more or less like virtual awards in a way, milestones that you've hit. Right. Leaderboard, as we all kind of know what a leaderboard is. And then there's,
Like on PlayStation, trophies are badges pretty much,
sure.
just to make a relation to something that a lot of people probably already experience.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, not even like in software. I mean, of course, PlayStation is, running software, but talk about a gaming console, right? I
Yeah.
mean, video games. I mean,
It's a
there's
game that tries to get you to come back and play more games
with
or to
game,
continue to play that same game.
with smaller game like elements like points and rewards.
Right. So it's a
Yeah.
game within a game within a game.
Yep. Inception.
Gameception.
Gameception. Yeah.
Pretty
Yep.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, so these elements like we mentioned before, you know it's important. Jason brought up earlier about instant gratification, right? When someone gets to a certain point, right? And he mentioned, we completed a task in Asana and all of a sudden we saw the unicorn immediately. We didn't have to wait 3 seconds for like a page refresh, right? We didn't have to click around, change the screen, go to a different modal, right?
Didn't
It
give us an email
didn't give us
later
a
saying that we got the unicorn.
we didn't see we didn't get an email with a gif of it running. We got it immediately. It was almost like right then and there. Also creating the sense of achievement, right? So like the progress of it, like you can always see what that next, right? There's always that progress bar that shows you, right? And I know with the 7-Eleven app, I brought that up earlier with the 6 cups and like your seventh is free. As you're going across, you can see each cup you buy, like it's filling up. It's
Yeah.
turning from gray to green, and the little progress bar is going across just to give that instant gratification or the notice of you're progressing through something.
Yeah. And that's used not just in like that this type of gamification that we're talking about, but you might see websites with stuff like that. They've
Sure.
got a progress bar already going on, and there's some psychological thing where seeing your progress makes you want to get to the end
Yep.
of that
Yeah,
progress.
completing a task. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, creating the sense of completion, and then also fostering the sense of community, right? So if you're trying to grow up on a leaderboard, right, and you're going against other people, you might even become friends or start to talk to those other people that
Right.
are on that leaderboard through the headset, right? That might be in a whole nother country, or they're in your same city and you don't even know it,
Right.
right? So fostering the sense of community is also involved there, and then it's also gamification also causes people to go explore within the app, go explore within the software. Like, what else is there? Like,
Yeah. What else will earn me some points?
right. Or what else, I completed a task in Asana and I got this unicorn. What's, what else do I need to do in here to get like a rainbow or to get, a car to drive across? Or
Yeah.
maybe there's some other Easter egg in here that we don't know about yet. Let's go cruise around and try to find it.
That's kind
Right.
of cool. I want to go play with Asana now
Yeah.
and see if there's more.
Maybe there is.
Give us more Asana.
Give us more. Yeah, so of course, we cover no code and low code and custom software on this podcast, right? So we'll talk about the contrast between the three and how they relate to gamification specifically um, in the realm of gamification. So when it comes to no code, that's going to be tough to do gamification only because no code solutions really don't offer much in a way of customization to add in gamification, especially if the gamification is being added in a unique way.
Yeah, think about the Asana thing we had just talked about, where there's that unicorn, and you were like, "What else is in there?" Well, if you're a business and you're using Asana and you want to promote other things for your employees to achieve in Asana, it's not like you can just go in and configure that or to build that in,
Right.
right? So, like, maybe you want your users to feel some type of way when they move a task from one piece of from one category to another category, like
Like a to
a
do.
progress thing, right?
Yeah.
Like from to
To
do
do
to
to.
doing should
Yeah.
show a hey, thumbs up, good job. Can't just build that into Asana. It's
Right.
already, unless Asana made that happen.
Right.
Like, that's not just something that you could tell it to throw a unicorn up there.
Right.
It's only the way that Asana has built it is the way that it's going to work.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and the same with low code too. There are some options that exist out there to expand on some low code tools that might allow for some type of gamification to be added. But again, you're kind of handcuffed on the type of tool that you're using at the time.
And most of that is going to be the more complex stuff that you're doing anyway. So it might require a developer in the first or in the, after the fact
Right.
to actually make that stuff happen.
Right. Right. So that's kind of why you see gamification being made, gamification being made and sprinkled into apps, really from a custom software development standpoint, because it's available. It's yes, you can do basically anything you want when you're talking custom software development. Any type of gamification that you want to interject or add in, right? It can totally be done with pretty much any custom software solution you try to build,
Yeah,
right?
that's where all the good ones are.
That's right. So how about the benefits of gamification in software products and how they increase user engagement?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the whole point of having an app is to keep people on that app. Like, that's
User engagement.
user engagement to the point where this kind of gets off the rails a little bit, but TikTok seriously hampers videos that specifically name other websites, right? Like, if you verbally say, go check out my video on YouTube, your video, I mean, there's no real data to show this, but creators all over the place are saying that their videos then get like
Demoted.
demoted,
Yeah.
basically,
Okay.
right? Yeah. So even to the point of like, check the link in my description is
Hmm.
stuff that they have noticed is like hurting
Wow.
their standings, to the point where they take literal physical signs, hang them behind them, or like bring them up that's with a
Oh,
YouTube logo,
like a Bitly
it's
logo
part of
or
a bit.
link or
Like,
something. Oh,
yeah, like
like a
they
piece of paper
hold
that
up
they
a
hold up.
piece of paper that says,
Link in bio.
TikTok doesn't want me to say this. Go to YouTube for more
And
information.
they're passing cue cards aside.
I will be streaming on Twitch tomorrow at X, or 3 p.m., right? So anyway, the whole point is that companies are going to the extreme to prevent people from going off of their platform.
Hmm.
They want to incentivize people so much to stay
To
on their
stay on it.
platform. And
Yep.
gamification is the positive way of doing that.
Right. Right. Right, which is retention, right? Improved learning outcomes, which we talked about with Khan Academy, and then user retention, right? Like those are really the main benefits. And then also, right, software products become more enjoyable, right? People
Yeah,
enjoy software products that give instant gratification, that
it's
offer
the dopamine
gamification.
thing, right?
Yeah.
It's you get something nice that looks cool and you feel good about it.
Yep. Yep. Another benefit is, users are more likely to engage with a product and retain the information presented to them when it's delivered through gamification, which is kind of neat because it's kind of tied to like this reward that you just got. So you kind of remember that maybe that marketing message that was flashed
Yeah,
at the time, or some type of course subject line in a course they were learning at that point that they satisfied and got that milestone in Khan Academy. So definitely improved learning for sure. And it's proven that gamification leads to higher user retention, which we brought up, a few times. That's almost the obvious one. Let's talk about some examples though. Like we talked about Asana with the unicorn. We talked about the 7-Eleven Slurpee one. Um, I think we brought up a few other social media. What are some other ones out there that people are using probably every day and they don't even realize it?
Fitbit.
Fitbit.
I mean, obviously they realize that they're using Fitbit, but
Yep.
Fitbit gamifies fitness in a
Yep.
way. There's probably actually a person on our team uses it's some Apple version of a fitness tracker where maybe it's not Apple, but he tracks his
Jump
jump
ropes.
ropes,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So like you track your how many ropes you've jumped in a
Jumps.
year, and
Yeah.
then you share that and compare it against your friends and your spouse and
Yep.
your you know that sort of thing. So
Yep.
but yeah, Fitbit is a good example because it tracks your stuff and you can share it with friends.
Hmm.
Couple of people in my family had Fitbits for a while, and we will all like compare
Yep.
the steps that we were taking with each other, and I would always lose, and it's hilarious.
Hmm.
But yeah, you could see it all and see where their status is at any time, and it's like a competitive thing.
Yep. Yeah. Same thing with Peloton. Peloton was a big one. That was huge on community, huge on badges you earn, on more classes you take, and more. In the very beginning, it was just the cycle. Then the tread came out, right? And
Hmm.
the more, the 7-day status and like the 4-week thing, and all these different, God, what do they call it when you if you ride the bike 5 straight days? It's like
Like
a running.
milestones or
Yeah,
miles or
trying to think of the.
yeah,
You keep doing the same thing every day. The words escaping me.
repetition.
Maybe
Hmm.
streak,
Streak.
streak. Yep, 5-day streak, 10-day streak,
Not at
like
all what I
two,
was thinking.
two, 10-day streak, like all those pop up like as you're riding, even after the side. Like if someone's hit a streak, you get a little notification
Yeah,
like someone hit this 5-day streak or a 30-day streak or something, and that's
and
those
it
are all
prompts you to want to go and
right.
do the same or hit the same.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you got the Nike Plus running app that gets people out there running around. The Duolingo, the learning app, right? And in the business world, of course, LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn gamifies the setting up of your profile,
Oh
and
yeah, they've got a progress thing, and
yep,
yeah,
gives
interesting.
you. I think it still gives you those badges when you're kind of setting up based on how much of your work history you put in there and your
Yeah,
how good your profile is.
and then you can take not you can get endorsements from people, which is like a collaborative badge, I guess you could say.
Sure,
You give an
right.
endorsement, somebody gives you an endorsement. And tests, you can
Ooh,
take tests too to give yourself badges
yep.
on the profile.
Awesome. So we'll get into some best practices when it comes to gamification software products, um, and also making game mechanics simple and easy, right? Because
Yeah,
you don't want to implement gamification that's confusing or stupid or hard, or the very first milestone is like a million points
yeah,
away.
they're already learning your app. They don't need to learn the mini game within your app at the same time. It
Yep.
should be natural. It should work well. It should be
Right.
doing it kind of the way that they're expecting it to work.
Right.
One thing that we don't have in our notes, but it's probably best to make your gamification responsible. So you can make games in a way that is detrimental to people's health,
Sure.
and like if you target people who are prone to addiction and that sort of
Right.
thing, like
Right.
you get into some dark practices that might help your app, but they might hurt your users
Yep.
and negatively affect your retention from a business standpoint, negatively
Right.
affect your retention, not even speaking to the moral and ethical
Hmm.
badness of doing those things.
Right. Right. Yeah. So keeping it simple is very, very paramount. Keeping it simple, easy to understand. We talked about earlier providing the immediate feedback, right?
Yeah, it
Don't
doesn't matter if it's not happening right in front of you right now.
right,
Like it doesn't have the same effect.
right, right. Yeah, 10 seconds later, if all of a sudden in the sound of that unicorn flew across the screen and you're already
Yeah.
kind of cognitively doing something different, that would be a
Yeah.
problem.
Well, I mean, think about it. You don't get the dopamine hit from something that you did a month ago or
Right,
10 days ago or a week ago or a day ago, really, right? It
right,
has to happen in the time that you do it. So you associate the not only just because you're not going to get the dopamine hit, but you need to associate that feeling with the action that they had just taken.
Right. Right.
It's like
That's
training
important.
dogs in a way, right? Like that's how you train dog is you give them the gratification from the action that you want to encourage.
Yep.
Treat your users like dogs.
Dogs are our best friends, right?
It's true.
Set achievable goals too. Like, man, don't make it so difficult. Don't make it seem like, oh man, I gotta use this software or ride this bike or run on this treadmill or for
Yeah,
years before I get like my first milestone. Like, definitely make them easily achievable, especially in the very beginning, to get that reward
yeah,
system going right
and
away.
especially if you're like hiding content behind those paths too.
Yeah.
Because if somebody feels like they have to like work for 6 months to get some feature of your app that their friend has already spent the last 6 months getting, that's just going to turn them off.
Yep.
They're going to walk away.
Yep. And then of course design for social interaction, right? That's huge. So like be able to share the fact that someone just earned this milestone or just
Yeah,
just learned on this module in this, in this LMS platform. Allow people to share that content, allow people to share and be happy about it, right?
easily
Easily.
share it. So really, just click a button and it shares to whatever social media platform is out there.
Yep. And then a big best practice, and really this is internally, is really to test and iterate, right? Understand how people are using the gamification, understand how the point system is working, understand how easy it is for people to, reach these milestones and change it, modify it, listen to the feedback, see what people are mad about, see what they're saying. If they're
Yeah,
all happy, great. At least you're learning that they're all happy. That's a good thing. But
yeah,
make sure you're testing and iterating. Certainly, there's ways to avoid pitfalls. We mentioned this earlier, such as creating a game that's too difficult or too confusing or too stupid, or it doesn't have a point to it. Right? That's where it's useless, or when the gamification becomes, you know, unnecessary in a way.
right, right. Doesn't hit your goal.
Right? Provide meaningful rewards. Right? That's another one. Right? Like, um, imagine the 7-Eleven app, and it's like, six, get 6 cups and your seventh is free. But yet the icons are like food icons or like hamburger
Yeah,
icons, and like it doesn't make sense, and it like might confuse people.
doesn't correlate to what the actual reward is.
Right, right. So like make it meaningful. And of course, if you're, like fitness apps, like do a really great job of Fitbit, Nike Plus, Peloton app, make it all, meaningful in a way of like getting exercise. But again, it's like, don't incentivize people or don't encourage people or provide some type of reward about, putting in 17 hours of riding a bike in a day. Like
Mm.
don't incentivize people to
Well, that goes back to the unhealthy, like
unhealthy. Yep.
preying on people's addictions and that
Right.
sort of thing. Like
Right.
there are very bad ways that you can make gamification
Yep.
morally.
Right. Yeah. And then of course, don't rely too heavily on gamification is another pitfall. I think the fitness apps in a way almost have to rely pretty heavily on it. But they don't go too far. Like it almost seems like, all right, I'm more or less playing a game and I'm not
Yeah,
really like getting fit here.
those do kind of seem more game like.
Hmm.
They're not game apps, obviously, but they're more game like than like the 7-Eleven app or something
Right.
like that. Yeah, I think what it really comes down to is your app should work standalone. Your app shouldn't require the gamification to be usable. If it requires the gamification, then you're probably doing something wrong.
Hmm.
Gamification should enhance it. It shouldn't be like a dependency.
Right. Right. And another pitfall, which we don't really see this very much too often, right, is once you're creating your gamification. Of course, when you're creating your software, you want to be aware of cultural and demographic factors. You certainly don't want to open yourself up to criticism that you don't want,
Right.
or legalities that you shouldn't have to deal with, right, or that you don't never really plan for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, we can maybe this is a topic for a different time or for other people to have those conversations, but you know, if your app is supposed to be for everyone in the United States, gambling might be a bad thing to make part of that gamification, because there's quite a few, you know, religious beliefs that
Yeah.
gambling is not an acceptable thing of. So you basically ostracize that entire piece of the population
Right.
to do that. Um, there's also components of like accessibility concerns.
Hmm.
If your primary like way of gamifying is bright, pretty colors and that sort of thing, like think of how that affects um, the colorblind community
Yep.
and people who see colors in different ways. Like just because you think it looks good to your eyes doesn't mean that it's going to do the same thing for other
Exactly.
people who see a little bit differently.
Yep.
And of course, there's all sorts of other things that people who look like us probably shouldn't have too heavy of an opinion on. But
Right.
you can kind of see where we're going
Right.
with those things. So
Right. And then also, because gamification can work across, enterprise software and also public facing apps, right? You don't want to create, a workplace environment that's kind of heavily driven off of gamification. And all of a
yeah,
sudden you've got employees going up against each other, or there's unfair advantages being given. Right.
right. Do the points that I'm earning through this app that I earn from doing my job have a say on like how much I get paid at the end of the year? Like,
Right.
is it part of
Does
my
it feed
bonus?
into
Is
my
it part of my,
review? Right.
yeah? Is it part
Do
of
I
my
get a bigger
merit
bonus?
increases?
Right.
Am I going to get penalized if I don't earn enough
Right.
of those points? Because I mean, like, just because you don't say that those points have any bearing on things doesn't mean that that's not going to be the case.
Right.
And it
Right.
might even be an internal thing with management. Like they might just have seen that this person earns more points than that person, so this
Hmm.
person's more favorable.
Right.
Or this person plays the game, that person doesn't play the game.
Right.
That doesn't mean that the person who plays the game is doing a better job
No.
necessarily. So there's avoid those types of
Yep.
things.
Keep it simple, keep it
Yeah.
light, keep it fun, keep it meaningful, keep it
Know your
impactful.
audience. Know
Know
your
your
audience.
audience. That's important.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed and gotten some really good nuggets out of gamification and software products. We covered, the defining what it is and talking about what it is and how it exists today. We talked about the benefits, and best practices, including what you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So next episode, I'm going to tease the next episode.
I would, but I don't remember what it's going to be. So I'll let you do that.
We are going to talk about everybody's favorite topic, software maintenance.
Oh, that is my favorite
Yay!
topic.
The unicorn flying across the screen. Yay.
Yeah, I mean, without getting too much into it, development doesn't end at delivery. So
Nope.
that's big part of it.
Yep.
You'll learn something.
So stay tuned. You'll understand why maintenance is important. Maybe you've heard it before. You're still not sure. We might say something in a little different way. You might catch on. You might realize, oh, okay, yeah, I get it now. But yeah, stay tuned and look forward to the next episode.
Thank you.
See ya.